Hi, I'm going to read this essay to you, From Fires to Pollution. Smog has been California's dark companion for centuries. Look at this picture. The sky. It's hard to see the sun. And it says wildfires have blanketed the Southland meaning Los Angeles area, in an ashy haze. Ash. What's ash? When there's fire, we have ash. An ashy haze. A haze means it's not clear to see. It's like in the sky. Above, in this picture, a darkened sky outside Christ Cathedral last week in Garden Grove. This is written in 2020, September 14th. It is an essay, and in this class you will be writing essays. It's a good example. When I close my eyes and think about that day in the late 1970s, I'm struck by the colors. So this person says, when I close my eyes and remember a day in the I'm struck if something strikes you, it hits you. The bright red of my favorite shirt. The silvery gray of smog sifting through the trees. Smog, pollution going through the trees. The leaves, bleached by chemicals in the air, were soft-edged blobs of an indiscriminate dark hue. The leaves, bleached by the chemicals. So the chemicals in the air are affecting the leaves. But there's smog going through the trees in the late 1970s. I was in college, and I'd driven from Northridge to Pasadena to visit the Norton Simon Museum. I don't remember the paintings. What I do remember is the air pollution, thick and vicious. Or viscous. Viscous means that it's like you could see it. It is hard not to think about smog during this terrible mid-September. Person wrote this when there's fires. California is on fire. Millions of acres torched. Tens of thousands of people evacuated. The pall of smoke from Northern California's flames has been visible from space. The sky is an orangey tan, orangey like orange color in the San Gabriel Valley. Cement gray brown, even at the beach. Mountains have vanished behind the haze. It's like a memo, like a writing from Southern California's past. A dire's like serious reminder of the bad old days when smoke belching cars rolled through the streets, unchastened, when City Hall was regularly obscured, and we'd yet to figure out what made our eyes sting and our lungs burn. The air was so bad this weekend that 8 Los Angeles County parks were closed. And reopening is contingent on air quality and safety measures. What's the person doing in this essay? First, they're describing what it's like. And it's a memo from the past because Southern California actually had really bad smog. Smoke belching cars. If somebody belches, it like produces. Rolled through the streets unchastened means no control. Now it's writing about now. There were the fires. What's happening? The air was so bad this weekend in 2020. And it's also going back to the past. The smoke in 2020 forced a handful of county-run coronavirus test sites to close. That was the middle of the pandemic. One assault on our lungs, making it harder for us to monitor another. The Los Angeles basin, what's a basin? Like a valley, has a long, dark relationship with smog. In 1542, explorer Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo christened San Pedro Bay La Bahía de los Fumos, the Bay of Smokes, because of the persistent ground-hugging smoke from fires set by members of the Gabrielino Tongva tribe as they hunted game on the hillsides. Hold on. See, Los Angeles, if you think about the geography of Los Angeles, there's big mountains that trap smoke in. Before cars, before modern pollution, 1542, first Spanish explorer comes and says, this area, Los Angeles, is like a bay of smokes. There have been so many milestones since. Now look at this picture. Look at this picture. This guy's riding a motorcycle with what? A mask on. What's going on? Motorcycle messenger. He's a messenger. Frank Stone uses a gas mask while making deliveries. September 14th, 1955. A day earlier, LA experienced the smoggiest day in its history. It's interesting to consider this. Air pollution in LA, air pollution in many areas. When has it been very bad? Believe it or not, it was worse. It was worse almost 70 years ago. Look at the sky in LA, 1955. Can't even see. In July 1943, wow, 80 years ago, thick, persistent smog in downtown Los Angeles shrank visibility to just 3 blocks. So hold on, go back to night. They could only see 3 blocks. What does that mean? People couldn't see a freeway. They couldn't see far. That episode kicks off Smogtown, the lung-burning history of pollution in Los Angeles. Now that is something you could look at if you wanted to. You understand? You could do a search for Smogtown. And you could try to look up some things about that. It's a series that came out about how LA has been an area filled with smog. You understand? See, we get here. I'm going to check yourself someday. Look a little bit more at Smogtown. I don't know why this is going. The lung burning history of Los Angeles. Let's see where I'm going to find it the best. It's a book. It's other kinds of things, you understand? You can get it in a library. You can get it other places. A lung-burning history that turned green from color to cause. Like how people in LA started to want to change. Change what? Reduce pollution, air pollution. As authors Chip Jacobs and William J. Kelly noted in the 2008 work, though nobody realized it then, the mystery cloud bank would rattle the planet, making green a cause, not just a color. But first, there was the suffering, a city full of it. What suffering? And on September 13th, 1955, this car-loving sprawl of a city, means city going in many areas, experienced the smoggiest day in its history, one that has not been equaled since. The ozone level in downtown LA was a lung-damaging 0.68 parts per million. In contrast, this Labor Day weekend was the worst air day in a generation, in a long time. And the ozone level spiked at just 185 parts per billion. So that's a big difference. Sunday was the 65th anniversary of that smoggiest day ever. A reminder that although there was much work to be done to make Southern California's air more breathable, we still have come a long way. If you celebrated by looking out the window, however, chances are you saw not very far. On Saturday, Maria Nichols put off taking her dog for a morning walk. She lives in the Mid-Wilshire area, and by late afternoon, she said it hurt to breathe. We are inhaling everything that burned. And it's not just trees and brush. It's also houses and commercial buildings and other things that were in the fire's past, she said. It's undoubtedly got some unhealthy things in addition to just plain old carbon soot. There's going to be chemicals from burning tires, burning plastics, all of which are more seriously harmful to health. Nichols knows her smog and how air quality in the Golden State has improved through the decades. She is chairwoman of the California Air Resources Board, first appointed to the job by then Governor Jerry Brown in 1965. She has served in the same position on and off under Governors Arnold Schwarzenegger, Brown again, and now Gavin Newsom. Nichols took her first trip to Los Angeles in 1969 when she was a student at Yale Law School. She and classmate arrived in the city in late afternoon. I remember descending into the Basin, driving west towards Sunset Boulevard and being astonished by the peculiar color of the air, she told the Times in an early profile. It was a kind of flaming orange, not a natural color, but a peculiar day glow, chemical kind of orange. LA actually had worse pollution in the past. There was more air pollution. Look at this picture here. See this lady? Although California has made strides or improvements in air quality, pollution levels have begun to creep back up or go up. Above in this picture, the smog near LA City Hall is so bad in 1953 that pedestrians carry rags to wipe tears. Their eyes are burning and they're crying from the pollution. Look at the picture of the pollution. Look how gray it is. Now, so hold on, go back to the reading. It's about this lady, Nichols, who's in charge of the California Air Resources Board, who's trying to get the air clean. You understand? She comes to LA for the first time, 1969, and the air is like orange, flaming orange. Today, she has other sensory memories of when breathing in Los Angeles was a regular assault on the lungs. I have a more vivid memory of the smell of the air, especially around LAX, she said in an interview Saturday. There were chemicals in use in those days that are no longer in use. You had both the ugly gray sky and the smell of the air. Nichols filed what is often described as the first lawsuit under the Federal Clean Air Act, suing the state of California to force then Governor Ronald Reagan to meet the requirements of the Federal Environmental Protection Agency. She won, but found out that making governments change is slow, hard work. So hold on. This lady Nichols is a lawyer. LA had a lot of pollution, so they filed lawsuits to get the air clean. The single biggest step toward improving air quality, she said, was requiring catalytic converters on all new cars. California pushed oil companies to formulate or create unleaded gasoline for use in the state. Today, if we go to get gas, it's pretty much all unleaded, but there was times when it was leaded. The federal government followed later. Another major improvement was requiring power plants to shift from oil to natural gas. She said, they have since that time become cleaner still. Power plants have gotten cleaner. For all the gains, improvements in air quality. However, improvements have plateaued. Plateaued means what? Stayed the same in recent years. And pollution levels have begun to creep or slowly go back up. One thing that worries air pollution attorney Adrian Martinez is that people often measure our progress against the smoggiest days of the 20th century. And that gives a false sense of accomplishment. We're not going back to the levels of the 60s and 70s. Those are when it was really bad in LA. But if your strategy is to make it safe to breathe, we need dramatic reductions in pollution, said Martinez, who is the staff attorney with the environmental group Earth Justice and tweets as LA Small Guy. That means, he said, we need to go to zero emissions. And not just with cars, but also with more serious polluters, such as ships and trains. He does, however, see some hope. As a country, We're talking more about environmental justice, about the need to clean the air where poorer people live too, and neighborhoods crisscrossed by a lattice of freeways, coursing or filled with the exhausts of interminable traffic. There may be an odd upside means benefit, good thing, to our current gray skies. If being in the pollution makes us realize how harmful it actually is, it could give us the impetus or the reason to solve this air pollution problem, Martinez said. Lots of lives will be saved. That's the big thing. Air pollution is literally a life or death issue. It's a shame. It took these fires and pandemic, but hopefully we can shift how we operate. Look at that picture. Beautiful. Oh, no, it's not beautiful, huh? When was this picture? Downtown LA skyline is shrouded in smog. If your strategy is to make it safe to breathe, we need dramatic reductions. So notice here, we still see downtown LA has a lot of smog. My family moved from central New Jersey to Southern California in February 1969, Cranberry Township to the San Fernando Valley. I was a chubby means little fat, lost 9-year-old. A smog, earthquake, wildfire novice. Growing up in Granada Hills and Northridge, I remember seeing the nearby foothills for the first time on a rare, clear day. They were craggy. The mountains. Hold on. He grows up in Granada Hills and Northridge. They were craggy, beautiful and so close. They'd been hidden behind a mantle of smog. I was stunned. During my first fire season, I stood on our front lawn on Rinaldi Street, mid-afternoon. Dark as night. Afternoon. Ash, like fat snowflakes, sifted down. What do you think? Is that safe to breathe in ash? No way. Evacuees drove by. People evacuating. Their cars filled with belongings, snatched in panic. I vowed that. I vowed means I promised. If God spared us, I would enter the convent. We were fine. And now, as the worst fire season in California history rages on, I am parked at the western end of Rose Avenue in Venice, a block or so from the scruffy apartment building where I lived in the mid-1980s. It is Saturday, 8:45 a.m. The ocean is a slender, dark gray stripe. The horizon, the sky, a mere suggestion. In other words, you're not seeing the horizon because of pollution. Malibu has disappeared. You can't see it. Too much smoke. Ditto, the same as the Palos Verdes Peninsula. The sun is a hazy, salmon-colored disk. My eyes sting. Looking east, there's nothing beyond Pacific Avenue. Looking east, looking towards the city, sees nothing. You need memory to believe the San Gabriel Mountains still rise somewhere in the distance, and faith to believe you will see them again. In California in 2020, the first one is easy. What first one is easy? believe the San Gabriel Mountains still rise. To believe you will see them again? Maybe not. In other words, do we really think air pollution will go down in LA? This is an interesting essay. Lots of thoughts in here. History, facts, information, personal stories to get you thinking. I hope you like this writing.